All right. I'll call this meeting to order of the Planning and Development Committee for August 18, 2025 to order. Councilman Chairman Blunt, would you do the invocation, please?
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day and thank you for another opportunity to do business. Help citizens of Greenville County. Pray you be with this meeting, all the discussion and the decisions. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Then a motion to approve the minutes as presented at the July 14, 2025 minutes.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. You guys.
Ready for the first docket, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
All right. The first docket tonight is CZ-2025-045. The property is located at 10 East Main Street in Taylors. The applicant is Chad Allen Coquette for revocable 10 East Main Street Taylors Land Trust.
Did we skip one?
No, so we're going to circle back to docket 44
Okay.
at the end.
All right, thank you.
The 0.32 acre subject property consists of one parcel and is located approximately 0.76 miles southwest of the intersection of East Main Street and St. Mark Road and currently contains a vacant dwelling. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned R20, Single Family Residential District. The request is for OD Office District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is a business office. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to OD Office District is consistent with the planned Greenville County Comprehensive Plan designation of mixed-use corridor, which suggests commercial as a primary use and is consistent with the adjacent parcel zoning to the west. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to OD Office District. Greenville County Planning Commission also recommended approval. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We have any discussion? Any? Somebody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
This passes. Next, please.
The next docket is CZ-2025-046. The property is located at 125 Terry Road in Fountain Inn. The applicant is Manuel R. Murillo and Anna Lillian Murillo. The 2.39 acre subject property consists of one parcel and is located approximately 0.46 miles south of the intersection of Terry Road and McKelvey Road and currently contains single-family residential. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned RR3, Rural Residential District. The request is for RR1, Rural Residential District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is single-family residential. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to RR1, Rural Residential District, would not be consistent with the planned Greenville County Comprehensive Plan future land use designation of rural, which suggests a density of one dwelling per 2+ acres. Staff also feels this request would go against the relatively recent citizen-led initial zoning of this area in 2018. Based on these reasons, staff recommends denial of the requested rezoning to RR1 Rural Residential District. Greenville County Planning Commission also recommended denial. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, do I hear a motion? So the motion is for denial. All in favor?
Aye.
This motion fails. Well, what is it? We deny it. We passes as a denial. Now, we are confirmed that it is denied. There we go. Confirmed that it is denied. All right.
You ever put anything down your way anymore?
Yes.
If you are religious. Don't do that, don't do that, don't. I mean, you guys are right next to each other.
The next docket is CZ-2025-047. The property is located at 2056 Highway 418 and Burgess School Road in Pelzer. The applicant is Monty Craig Milanese and Teresa Ann Milanese. The 45.64 acre subject property consists of 2 parcels and is located approximately 0.53 miles northeast of the intersection of Augusta Road, Highway 25, and Highway 418, and currently contains single-family residential and vacant land. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned RR3, Rural Residential District. The request is for RR1, Rural Residential District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is single-family residential. This is the subject site, and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that the requested rezoning to RR1 Rural Residential District is consistent with the South Greenville Area Plan designation of rural preservation, which suggests 1 dwelling per acre and states the most relevant zoning classification is the RR1 Rural Residential Zoning District. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to RR1 Rural Residential District. Greenville County Planning Commission recommended denial. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any discussion?
And school me up here, maybe, Counselor Fant, help me out here. So just real quick, when I read it, I want to make sure I'm reading this correctly, or any of the staff can help me out here. So the designation of rural preservation, which is this is rural 1, correct? Residential 1, and the preservation that says suggests 1 dwelling per acre is RR1, is suggests. Now, they could put 4 or 5 per acre, correct? So what I'm saying is we could end up with 400 houses here.
No, so
What's the max number of houses you can put on this acreage right now if we switch this zoning?
okay, so yeah, if the RR1 was approved, the maximum would be 45 units, because it would be 1 unit per acre.
Okay, so it's not recommended, because it isn't here suggests. I just want to make sure the language is correct.
Yeah, so the reference in the staff's conclusion, that's from the South Greenville Area Plan.
Right.
So it has a section where it speaks about rural preservation, and that's
Correct.
more of a future land use just under that area plan.
Right, so we go from R3 to R1, they can only put 45 houses.
That would be the maximum, yes, sir.
Okay.
This is the one where the lady wanted to put some houses for a family.
Yeah,
She
Yeah.
put 16,
yeah,
Like it is.
yeah, like it is now, so.
a big family.
A big family.
Okay.
This doesn't have, if I'm correct, no sewer.
It's septic.
Septic.
Yep, sewer is not available here.
Right. And this is on Burgess School Road, which is, any more discussion?
Thank you.
I need a motion.
Which way? I was gonna say, which one you going?
I can't,
He keep looking at me like I really go like tripping over something.
I make a motion to deny.
we have a motion for denial. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. So this is not, no. Then this is denied.
The next docket is CZ-2025-048. Property is located at 145 Chapman Grove Road in Pelzer. The applicants are Jessica O. Gates and Michael A. Gates. The 10.68 acre subject property consists of 1 parcel and is located approximately 0.8 miles southwest of the intersection of Dunkland Bridge Road and McKelvey Road, and currently contains a single-family residence and farm. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned RR3, Rural Residential District. The request is for AG, Agricultural Preservation District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is agritourism and a farm stand. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to AG Agricultural Preservation District would be consistent with the Plain Greenville County Comprehensive Plan designation of rural, which lists greenhouses, nurseries, and agriculture as primary uses. Staff also feels this would not have an adverse impact on the surrounding area. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to AG Agricultural Preservation District. Planning Commission also recommended approval. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just a question. Is the property currently being used for agriculture, or is this going to be an actual change?
So there is current agricultural activity on the site. The request for AG is so that they can start to have people come to the site for some agritourism uses, and I believe they also want to have a farm stand or a pick your own flower sort of arrangement.
Okay, so this is similar to what we've done in the last couple of months with some other.
It is similar to
It is.
some other recent requests we've done.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
It is approved.
Docket 49 has been withdrawn by the applicant. We'll move on to docket CZ-2025-050. The property is located on Agnew Road and Richards Avenue in Greenville. The applicant is Jonathan Nett of Civil SD LLC for Las Cruces Investments LLC. The 12.45 acre subject property consists of one parcel and is located approximately 0.8 miles north of the intersection of Whitehorse Road, Highway 25, and West Blue Ridge Drive, Highway 253, and currently contains vacant land. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned RMHP, Residential Manufactured Home Park District. The request is for R6, Single Family Residential District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is Single Family Residential. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to R6, Single Family Residential District, would be consistent with the planned Greenville County Comprehensive Plan future land use designation of traditional neighborhood and would not have an adverse impact on surrounding area. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to R6, Single Family Residential District. Greenville County Planning Commission also recommended approval. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any discussion on this?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Blunt?
I was trying to make sure Mr. Nett was here before I said this, but he's been very patient. This is one that we've had for a while, and they've made some changes and really done a lot of work. So I think that they have a good plan here, and unless there's any other discussion, I'll make a motion after that.
Any other discussion? So your motion is for approval?
Motion to approve.
All in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye. This is approved. Next docket, please.
Next is docket CZ-2025-051. The property is located at 3019, 3021, 3035, and 3085 Highway 14 in Greer. The applicant is Lynn Soulsby of Blue Water Civil Design LLC for Highway 14 Cars LLC and AGWG 3085 Holdings LLC. The 13.67 acre subject property consists of three parcels and is located approximately 0.21 miles northeast of the interchange at Batesville-Pelham Road and Highway 14. Currently contains single-family residential and vacant land. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned RS, Residential Suburban District. The request is for S1 Services District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is private recreation with automotive storage. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to S1 Services District would be consistent with the planned Greenville County Comprehensive Plan future land use designation of Mixed Employment Center and would be consistent with similar commercial zoning in the area. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to S1 Services District. Greenville County Planning Commission recommended denial. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
Mr. Bickle, if you're here, can you come forward, please, and just give us a quick statement why you denied this? Well, I wasn't at the meeting. I know it was a 4-4 vote, but can you just give a quick synopsis? I'm not asking for your opinion, just what was the synopsis of why the Planning Commission denied it, or what was the overwhelming why they say no?
I rarely do this, but Jonelle was more involved with that.
All right, well, yeah, but Janelle, come on, Ms. Phillips, come on up. Ms. Phillips is on the Planning Commission. Just want to hear real quick why. I wasn't at the meeting, so this is obviously in our district, and
Save you that information.
well, I get about 400 emails a day. Sorry, I'm sure I read it, and I just want to make sure I'm on the
It
same
was
page.
just today, so maybe you didn't. That's okay. It failed because the vote was tied. We had 8 planning commissioners present, 4 in favor, 4 opposed. It was those of us who denied felt that the commercial rezoning they were requesting contained a wide list of uses that could be allowed on that property. That property has severe topography. It slopes down to the Enoree River. So we're talking maybe contamination. Plus there's also residential properties downstream too that would be affected. We felt that maybe based on what they say they're going to do, an FRD would be much better for that area. Not that maybe the use they were stating they wanted would work, but with the requested rezoning being C3, is this 3? Oh, S1. That would allow them anything from a junkyard to a scrapyard there. It was a problem. And we don't want a scrapyard at the intersection in our neighborhood. Do we, Kurt?
Thank you, Ms. Chanel.
Any questions?
No, that's it. Thank you. That put it perfect. I'd like to make a motion to hold this until the next P&D review committee.
All in favor of holding? Can we do it that way? Sure. All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 We'll hold this.
Next docket is CZ-2025-052. The property is located at 395 Conisty Road, 2nd Avenue, and 3rd Street in Greenville. The applicant is Sandcat Modi for Modi 87, Inc. The 0.5 acre subject property consists of a portion of one parcel and is located approximately 0.54 miles east of the roundabout interchange of Fork Shoals Road and Conisty Road. Currently contains a self-service laundromat and gas station with retail. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is Zone C1 Commercial District and RMA Multifamily Residential District. The request is for C2 Commercial District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is retail or ABC liquor sales. This is a subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to C2 Commercial District would be consistent with the Conisty Community Plan future land use designation of Mill Village Commercial and would eliminate the split zoning of the parcel by matching the existing C2 designation on the rest of the site. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to C2 Commercial District. Greenville County Planning Commission recommended denial. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Move for denial.
All right, been asked for denial. All in favor of denial, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is denied.
Next docket is CZ-2025-053, which is to amend Article 4 definitions, Article 6, Table 6.1 uses permitted, uses by special exception, and conditional uses, and Article 8, Section 8.5 ESDPM, Environmentally Sensitive District, Paris Mountain of the Greenville County Zoning Ordinance. The proposal as previously presented would, 1, change the intent. So shown in red is a change to the current wording of Section 851 intent. The current wording is shown in red and struck through. Section 2 would be an amendment to the use table and dimensional standards. Here we see uses specified in Table 6.1, which are currently allowed in the ESDPM zoning classifications. These would be removed from being allowed in that district. We also see a change to Section 853, which would create a new dimensional standards table for the district. Section 4 would be to, this is missing from the speeches. So this would alter the density requirement to now be based on the acreage of the site. So it would be 1 permitted dwelling per acre. Next would be an amendment to the tree save and lighting sections. So a new Section 8.510, tree save and tree preservation is proposed, which would place restrictions on clearing of trees on properties. Another new section, 8511, would place new requirements on lighting. Next would be a new section on short-term rentals. So a third new section proposed, 8512, short-term rentals, which would place restrictions on short-term rentals and guest parking. And then shown in red and struck through is the current language of section 859, transfer of development rights. The proposed amendment renames the section to special provisions and would remove uses of TDRs and create a buffer area for certain properties. And lastly, new definitions are proposed to be added to Article 4 definitions. Here we see an outline of the ESDPM zoning. Here we see the zoning of the ESDPM area and adjacent properties. Staff is of the opinion that proposed text amendments as previously presented would create contradictions with other county regulations currently in effect in the zoning ordinance, land development regulations, and tree ordinance, and would cause complications with their enforcement. Additionally, some of the proposed regulation changes would be difficult for county zoning staff to administer or enforce. A change such as the regulation of short-term rentals would necessitate the adoption of new processes and permits, while other restrictions such as parking on road shoulders may not fall within the purview of zoning administrations. Based on these reasons, staff previously recommended denial of the proposed text amendment. Greenville County Planning Commission also recommended denial. As you're aware, you have all since received revised versions of those documents. Staff has also reviewed these. If council, well, if the Planning and Development Committee so chose to accept those amended dockets, staff does feel that we could support those. The one item which we realized before this meeting, so there is a current proposed change. So under the Section 3 of amendments, a new dimensional standards table would be established, which created the new maximum unit or minimum lot size, establishes new setback requirements. It would remove the reference to Table 7.3 from the ESDPM section. There would still need to be another amendment to Table 7.3 to remove the setback requirements from that table, or we would end up with two contradicting sections in the ordinance. So if you do choose to accept the amended versions of these text amendments, we would just ask that you also please include another amendment to Table 7.3 of the zoning ordinance.
This is mainly just a clean, just something that got missed. It's not changing any language or anything from what was proposed to staff. It's just, like Todd said, just so we don't have two conflicting measurement requirements. And we'll draft that up, the language, with appropriate references and stuff as well.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, Councilman.
I guess I'll go through a couple of the questions on this one because it is a lot. First of all, I was hoping or I thought we might have a copy of those just so we'd be able to look at them, especially with that change. So how will we proceed with trying to do that currently? Oh, she's got them right there.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this does not have what Todd just brought up. Though.
Okay,
We just literally saw that before we walked over here.
gotcha. And so if what I'm hearing is correct, the first thing that we would need to do is amend the table first.
So the amendment that was just handed to you, there are 10 sections to that. You could add Section 11, I suppose, which would be to modify the language under Table 7.3 to reference Section 8:5.3 of the proposed amendments.
Having heard all of that, I would make a motion to do what you just said. If that's acceptable.
Just point of clarification. You referenced section 10. Were you talking about item 10 and item 11? Because there's a section
Okay.
on each one.
Right, so there's a standard version, and then there's an itemized version. So I believe that would be item 10. No,
And so then you said it would be an item 11 added to it.
right, so item 11
And
would
that's your
be,
motion to have item 11.
My motion is to add item 11 with all of the language that we just heard that I couldn't repeat if I tried.
Thank you.
All right, we hear the motion. Do we want to vote on that motion to add section 11 to this amendment? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we'll add section 11.
Now, if I'm correct, the next step then would be to amend the amendment with the current language in the information we just received. Any discussion on that one?
I want to make sure, just real quick. For the staff, when I read item 3, it looks like you've struck table C, table 7.3. So do we need to take that out of there?
so currently in section 8.5 of the zoning ordinance, section 8.5.3 just says to see table 7.3.
Okay,
In the proposed amendments, that section is now providing a standards table.
Correct.
Which does what table 7.3 used to do.
okay.
So that section really just gets replaced with the table. That doesn't need to be modified.
So what's the need for, say, 7.3?
So at the moment, table 7.3 is not being modified, which is where the setback requirements for the ESDPM district are currently established. So if that section is not also modified, then we would have two separate
I'm with you.
setback tables.
So what we're doing is you're essentially getting, by item 11, you're getting rid of that table altogether.
You're just modifying the line item for the ESDPM district to reference the new table in section 8.5.3.
Okay.
You need any more discussion?
And Councilman Blunt, it would be to amend the ordinance instead of amend the amendment.
Okay,
That's-
so just to amend the ordinance. So we're basically replacing the language that we had before. Gotcha.
That came.
Because I was getting ready to.
That went to planning commission,
Right.
yes.
Okay. All right. I would like to make a motion to amend the ordinance.
A motion to amend. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
And then just for clarity, that's what you said, that will give the staff the room to consider approval for this one moving
That is
forward.
correct.
All right. Thank you.
All right, so what else do we do with this, Dean?
Mr. Chairman, the ordinance has been amended, and it is now going to full council unless, and I don't think you want to do this, but you could always send it back to the planning commission, or you could hold it. The only reason to send it back to the planning commission would be to get we'll have a denial on it. Okay, the only way to take that denial off is if the planning commission takes that denial off.
And
But-
just for clarity, the only reason that really would make a huge difference is the difference between the amount of votes we would take once we get to council. It'd be 8 versus 7.
Yes, sir, that's correct. So, but in the normal course, after the amendment or the ordinance has been approved as amended, the next step, unless you direct otherwise, is that it will be showing up on the full council agenda.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right, so we're good.
That's it. Thank you.
Last up is docket CZ-2025-044, which is to amend Article 8, Section 851 ESDPM, Environmentally Sensitive District, Paris Mountain, intent of the Greenville County zoning ordinance. Shown in red, struck through is the current wording of Section 851. The proposed amendment would replace the current wording of the text shown in black. Here you see aerial images of the ESDPM boundary. Here you see the ESDPM zoning and the zoning of the surrounding area. Staff is of the opinion that the proposed change would refocus the purpose behind the ESDPM zoning classification and could help guide future review of Paris Mountain. Based on these reasons, staff recommended approval of the proposed text amendment. Greenville County Planning Commission also recommended approval. The docket was held by the Planning and Development Committee at the July 14th meeting. That was so the docket 53 that we just reviewed, so that it could reach this stage as well. this is now up for you to reconsider. If you were to approve this amendment, however, and it moves forward, then it would replace the one under docket 53, I believe, or what order? Yes.
Yes, whichever version you approve last will be what the intent section reads in the zoning ordinance.
Right.
So it's a timing situation. So you've already, if full council approves what was on the zoning docket 53, and then after goes back and approves 44, the language of 44 will be the controlling language. Does that make sense?
Okay. Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve. No?
If we approve this and 53 becomes obsolete,
Correct.
Wait, so this is not the one that's currently,
So just for
Forward.
clarifying, docket 53 also had an amendment to this same section. The amendment under 53 was a bit more robust, and it's what has been brought forward by you, Councilor Blunt, with input from citizens. Whereas docket 44, I believe, was brought forward by a separate council member a bit earlier. So it's,
so,
it's ultimately your decision of, which intent section you feel is.
so is this not the most recent version versus the?
No, so this language here, this is strictly, it is different intent language than what docket 53 was just approved to be.
I think, 53 is the one we want.
like,
All right, so just to be clear, we're at CZ 2025-44, which I
Yes.
see right there. And based on us passing 53, I'll make a motion to deny.
we have a motion for denial. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So 44 is denied. Okay.
You threw me off because you took it out of sequence on our paper, so I was like, hold on a second.
Right, so the reconsidered,
I was like, all right, I saw this, I'm wondering.
yeah, the held dockets are brought up at the end typically. I'm not sure why it was at the beginning on the
Yeah, that's
agenda.
the curve. I had in my mind what was going to happen. Sorry, thank you.
All right. Mr. Chairman, our next item on the agenda, if I'm not mistaken, is, yes, request to initiate zoning ordinance amendment for what we're titling a mobile food unit, essentially a mobile food unit ordinance, but it's going to be a text amendment to the zoning ordinance. What this essentially will be, this is going to add a definition of a mobile food unit. It's going to add the use in table 6.1, table of uses, as well as adding specific conditions. This will be conditional use in all the districts as shown on, we don't have that. Can we pull that up? Can we pull this amendment up? If you don't mind, please. We'll pull that up, and you'll see this on the screen, and we'll go over what these are. Let me give Todd a second to get that pulled up. Yeah, so just go back, go to docket number, all the way to the end, and it'll be mobile food unit, and then just pull up the ordinance. I have it open, so it's fine.
I'll tell you, I think we voted the same as all these, not careful for watching.
Something's wrong.
All right, so the definition for this, for mobile food unit, as it reads, any vehicle, trailer, or other movable, motorized, or non-motorized establishment that is used for the sale of food and beverages to the general public. Under table 6.1, we'll be adding, or proposing to add this as a conditional use in the Ag District, the Neighborhood Commercial District, C1, 2, 3, S1, and I1 districts, all as conditional use. And then adding a new section under section 6:2, use conditions for mobile food units. And I'll read these out here. These will be the conditions. No permanent structure is permitted to be added to or adjacent to a mobile food unit. The mobile food unit, there's a typo there. The mobile food unit and all associated equipment must be removed every night and where's it going? And may not be left over more than one night unless it may not be left overnight unless the mobile food unit is part of a special event that is taking place for more than one day. Sorry, my mouse is just moving on its own. If a tent is to be used, it cannot be larger than 400 square feet without obtaining a temporary tent permit from Greenville County Building Codes Department. No mobile food unit is permitted to sit in any site triangle or be a visual obstruction for any road or adjacent parcel. Mobile food units cannot cause an adverse impact for an existing use on the same parcel. Must have written permission from the property owner to set up on the site. Placement of the mobile food unit may not impede traffic or block necessary parking spaces for the site, resulting in customers parking on other properties or in non-parking spaces. They may also not obstruct emergency, handicap, or any other access points for the site and its structures. Must adhere to the Greenville County noise ordinance. All signage must adhere to the Greenville County sign ordinance. All trash and refuse created by the mobile food unit, its operators and/or patrons must comply and follow the county ordinances and International Property Maintenance Code as they relate to litter, garbage, sanitation, rubbish, and approved containers. All trash and refuse must be removed every night upon vacancy. Must obtain a business registration from Greenville County. Must meet all fire safety regulations and have an updated and current fire inspection decal clearly visible on the unit. Must have all permits and approvals as required by any other state or federal agency. Any generator that is to be used must be located at least 50 feet from any residentially used or zoned parcel. And failure to adhere to these conditions shall be a violation and punishable under Article 13 of this ordinance. The reason why there's so many things here is because there are multiple different departments that are associated with this, from building codes to code compliance to the fire department and us. We all kind of put our heads together and put down the items that are, what we believe as, I don't want to say problematic, but ones that could be an issue or a concern. So I know that we have a fire chief here that's willing to maybe answer any questions, if there's any questions for him from a fire safety standpoint. But I'd be happy to talk through any of these and answer any questions you may have.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Blunt?
Fire Marshal, Mr. J.J. Airwood is here to answer any questions if we have any. And I will say that looking through it, I know that there was a lot of work put into this from their side, just from the safety inspection side. And he went through with detail probably a year ago, maybe even longer now. So I just wanted to give him the opportunity to share of how this ordinance, along with the initiative they've already taken, will help strengthen, especially safety protocol for the mobile food units.
Thank you for the introduction, Councilman Benton. Again, my name is J.J. Arrowwood. I'm the Fire Marshal of Berea Fire Department, and I'm here tonight to endorse the proposed mobile food unit ordinance. Mobile food units have become increasingly popular, adding vibrance to my community. As of Friday, there was 24 mobile food units operating in my fire district, and during the weekend, that number can rise to over 30. These units create small business opportunities, offer diverse dining options, and bring people together. However, for these benefits to be sustainable, we need clear rules that protect both vendors and the community. This ordinance provides that balance. Proper zoning ensures that food units are located in areas where customers expect them without adding congestion to residential neighborhoods. Requiring mobile food units to leave the site where they set up to sell food eliminates unnecessary risk and challenges. Additionally, requiring the property owner permission to respect private rights while ensuring vendors are welcome where they're operated. I get calls multiple times is that they want me to remove them from a parking lot, and that's not my place. But just because I've tried to reach inside the community and take it upon myself or to educate them, because when you educate people about stuff, they're more apt to do what needs to be done. These are not burdensome rules. They are common sense safeguards. They support small businesses, create fairness with brick and mortar restaurants, and ensure that food trucks remain a positive part of our community.
We have any questions for the fire marshal?
Can you speak to, I know one of the things that I'll never forget after you told me is the reason why we would not want those fuel tanks to be inside the mobile food unit while
They
they're
explode
operating.
and make a bad mess. I mean, they can really mess up a lot of things. They're regulated with 200-pound propane cylinders. That's the two small ones. That's all they can have by code. But sometimes, if they're not treated properly, they could expand and blow up, called a BLEVE. Boiling, expanding vapor explosion. So, it's kind of important that we take care of it. I've tried very hard This is my mission in my area, is to try to educate the people about it so that they understand. I felt like I've been well received by the community. I have people who's called me in multiple areas asking about it because of the connection with, Jimmy over here might tell Billy over here, and then they call you, but I can't go into other areas. A consent zoning would really, or a consent ordinance would really, really help things out. Case in point is, what really got this really refired in my mind was we had a vagrant who broke into one of the food trucks and tried to catch it on fire. Just because that's what they wanted to do. I had another one that happened the 1st of August that was positioned probably too close to the road, and a man came down the road, hit his food truck, and then knocked down the power pole. And the guy that hit him had $25,000 coverage, and the man who owned the food truck told me that Duke Power gets their money first, and then he'll get his money. So whatever that is, this man has put a lifetime savings of money in something, and now it's gone. So I really think that with the ordinance, it would have put him back a little bit further, and that he would have probably been, I'm not going to say it wouldn't have messed him up. I'm just going to say it had bettered his chances of not losing his family business.
Any other questions?
Question, how, do they just still have to get the DHEC inspection one time at the beginning?
They get it every year, supposed to be. It's just like a regular restaurant, but there's no connection with the fire department and DHEC. And what I mean by that is roughly 3 years ago, I got put in this position as a full-time fire marshal, and food trucks became very interesting to me. So I went out and inspected roughly, I think it was 13 food trucks. I had to shut 10 of them down on the site at that time because they didn't have any fire suppression in their food truck. So, again, I just really think this would be very beneficial for our community and for ways that which can control how things are operated with them.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that this will help with setbacks. I don't see anywhere in this ordinance where there is a setback from any roads.
I
So
think when I read,
now it's 50 feet for a generator, but not all of them have generators, so.
I guess when I said the setback is I was doing my research and I saw that in these certain areas, there was a certain setback by the table that y'all talked about. So maybe I misspoke, but I was just looking at setting up, and it said setting things up in the properties certain distances, front, back, side to side. So that's why I took that information. If I misspoke about that, I apologize.
So on that, what we that
But
was
is that something we
came
want to
up.
add?
There's something that came up. The main reason that it's not in here as you know, to meet the setbacks of the underlying zoning is because setbacks are for structures. Building setbacks are associated with structures. These are supposed to be temporary, portable, and so they're not structures. So that's why we didn't attach it to setbacks. We just attached it to cannot block parking, cannot be visual obstruction. That way they can still move around the site. They don't necessarily have to be in the same place. They could be back here, maybe over here. But once you get them out of that side triangle, once you get them, away from, back a little bit, it provides that safety. And, I don't really have an issue with it being in front of any buildings or within a setback. And obviously it can't be within any buffer yards or anything like that. That's just, bespoke. I mean, that's in here. But that's the reason behind it.
Is this going to have any, I've seen a few, like in Simpsonville or other places, they have some food truck villages where it's almost semi-permanent. Is this going to affect them?
We could start seeing those. People have inquired about that. We don't have any provisions for that type use because it's not necessarily a restaurant under the international codes. So we've been kind of telling people, push them into like an FRD type zoning because we don't really have a specific zoning of, that would allow for all the stuff they want to go on there, because sometimes they want to have alcohol sales, which, may need C2. They want to have other things that may not. So there's not like a specific zoning that it would fit best with. This would maybe put us on track with getting something like that, but we have had inquiries into that.
Okay, I just want to make sure from a constitutional standpoint, we're not over-regulating something we shouldn't be putting our hands in. So I just asked the five of us to consider that. Like this, it seems good on its face, right? It seems really good till you apply it, and then you see what it does to these people and how they have to operate their business. So I just want to make sure we're not over-regulating people. And I want to say, I'm all about safety. I see all safety stuff here is great. I just want to make sure we don't.
Well, I truly.
Too much regulate.
I truly feel that with due time, if you approve this, that educating the people, they would understand why we would want to do this. After I went out and we had to shut those down, but I explained to the people why they have a fire suppression system. And then I would hope that there would be a transitional period if y'all did this. I don't know the proper terminology to use it as a time to get the people educated about this. I would really go to the forefront in my area and try to educate the people about it, why it was going to happen. We were in the talks about this in the beginning, so I had a meeting when we first did the food truck sticker and tried to educate everybody about what was going on. And I said, be ready for something like this, and they understood. I think it's a good thing. I think it does well. You talk about food truck villages, and I have certain places. I have a 1 block area. There is 6 food trucks in that 1 block area.
And I'd like to tag on a couple things here. 2 points. Number one, the use table that you go back to it. The reason why we got it in these districts here, and we can expand this. I don't have any issues with POD or OD. The main thing for the commercials is that's where restaurants are permitted. So that's why I picked the NC through I-1, because you can get the restaurants in there. AG, obviously, because if there's some type of, agritourism type business or something that they want to have a food truck, then, incorporate that. The reason why everything else is left out is because as of today,
So they
Yeah.
have in that.
we took that into consideration. And what I meant to say a second ago, also, I apologize, is that from a planning and zoning standpoint and view on this, yes, we're regulating it from a use standpoint in the table 6.1, but we're not putting the majority of these regulations we're trying to say is coming from life safety, building codes, and other departments. Our goal is just to make sure that we're not doing some of the stuff that we already are doing. If someone wants to have shared parking with their adjacent property, then we're going to make sure that they're not going to take away the adjacent property's parking. So it's just to make sure that that the main use there is still meeting the minimum requirements of the ordinance.
Dr. Fent?
Was there any discussion or thought given to like an annual licensing fee?
We do that. Does that through?
There's no fee for us to come
There's
out
not?
and
Okay.
inspect for the food truck sticker. Because you couldn't really, there's roughly 33 fire departments in Greenville County. and it's hard to way to divide that up. If I do them and then Glassy Mountain does them and Clear Springs does them and something, it's hard to divide that money up, so there's no fee. The stickers are being supported by the Greenville County Fire Chiefs Association. They pay for the stickers and then distribute them out to each individual fire department.
Aren't those, don't you have to renew those every year?
Every year, yes.
Okay, so there's not a fee other than the business registration fee.
Okay.
But there's not a fee for that either. You
Right.
get me? There's no fee for that, so, yeah.
Because a whole lot in the city. So
Yeah.
just
That's something if we want to.
Since I don't like bureaucratic heavy-handedness, but we going down this road, so I might as well grab some money too while you going.
Well, and I will say this, and by the way, I don't know if there's any more questions for the fire marshal, but I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to come and share that with us. But I know we all share that corridor where there are a lot of food trucks, and I have a business owner that owns quite a bit of different restaurants and things, and his thing is just, I have to go through the same hustle and bustle as every other business, and I'm serving the same product to some of these other people, so I just feel like it would be appropriate if we all had a standard we complied by, and I couldn't really argue with that, so I think you made a good point, and I think that staff as well as the fire departments, and they've taken this into account, and I think they've kind of streamlined it based on the first edition we had. It was quite robust, and they've kind of gotten it down a little bit, so just wanted to share that, so thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Mitchell.
Mr. Chairman, for the staff, is generator defined in this, or is it segmented out such that people know the difference between a generator and a backup power system, so that there's no confusion when people go out? Say a person goes out and wants to accuse the food truck of using a generator too close, and it's just basically a backup power system.
We would rely on the building codes department, because that's not something that really zoning would get into. We would rely on what the International Building Code or Fire Code would say, and I don't know if the Fire Code speaks to
Yes.
generators, so we would rely on their codes. This is more just to help them have a little bit more teeth as well, to make sure, for safety reasons, so.
Well, I'm speaking more of the citizen who wants to start something. And
They
go
would,
up
if
and
they
say
contacted us.
they got a generator.
Yeah, we would reach out to either our building staff, building code staff, or the fire department and say, hey, is this a generator? Does this fall under your definition? If they,
Right.
yes or no, depending on our response to the
One other
citizen.
thing I'd like to bring is the inspection process for the fire departments. We all have a uniform process. There was a there was a checklist developed and is given to all the fire departments. So each food truck inside the county is inspected the same. They have to go through the same amount of bullet points. I can't speak for any other cities, okay? I just know what's in the county.
And that's what we're concerned with, the county.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? Need a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
All in favor of the motion to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So this is passed.
Mr. Chairman, before we go on to our next docket, I hate to do this, but we're going to have to go back to CZ 2025-053. We failed to be a motion to approve as amended. So we just need to get that on the table.
So I need a motion.
Is this back to the Paris Mountain?
Yes.
This is the one that y'all made a motion, that was approval.
the amendment,
We
but not
approved
the-
amendments,
not
but
the
not
thing.
the.
Exactly.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the amendment as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. It gets a double check.
All right, our next item, item 7, is to amend ordinance number 5577, section 1, sunset provision. I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. This is a amendment to add 2 more years to the septic ordinance on unzoned properties. So
Motion to approve.
we gotta have some discussion first.
It can't have to do his motion.
Can we?
Yeah.
Well, I'm all for it.
I'll remove that motion if you want to talk.
No, we're good.
We need discussion.
No, there's absolutely none.
All right, so you know,
Motion to approve.
Ain't that right, Ms. Franklin?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
All right, our next item is the request to initiate a text amendment to the Greenville County zoning ordinance for cluster. I think this also has some additional language for the land development regulations, but that's separate. We're just talking about just a section for zoning ordinance.
Yes, sir. Councilman.
I'd like to make a motion for several reasons, but I'd like to make a motion to hold this until the next meeting.
We do have some legal,
Just for some legal things we're getting through, and I'd like to make a motion to hold it.
all in favor to hold this, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
The last item is, I think there's an overlay district discussion. I'm not sure.
Dr. Fant.
Yes. I had mentioned to y'all about some higher density issues to try to help with housing affordability. There's 3 families that I've been talking to for the last 2 years, Cindy. I mean, she called today. I was like, you don't have to come later. Just give me a minute. So what I did was I took your advice, Mr. McGahee, and I had some examples of what R3, I tried to do R2 and R4. R2 doesn't work. You can't even get setbacks enough to even make it work. So what they did was did some R3s and R4s, okay? For y'all to take a look at. Because whether you trying to build a house next to me or out there where Mr. Gahey lives, 2x4s cost the same. So the big thing is land cost, and it is extremely expensive. So the only way we can help control cost is to try to do something with land and higher density. Recognizing that everybody would be, some of y'all would be like, oh my God, I wouldn't want that near me, and it would get me beat and all that. So I get the NIMBYism, all right? So in talking to the chairman, I am perfectly fine with doing like an overlay district. So staff may need to pay attention to help us put together some overlays which would narrow the area where this type of housing could be built. And that way it could stay way away from my colleagues who think their constituents may not like it. I'll give you an example. The lady that was here last week, ain't nothing where that land is, and nothing ever gonna be there, all right? They just finally paved the road, all right? Well, here's the thing. And there's no sewer there. The sewer is like a quarter of a mile up the street. I mean, it's nearby, but it's a quarter of a mile up the street. Dealing with Metro, talking to them, they're like, look, if there's a large enough volume of houses that would be going in there, they don't mind running the little quarter of a mile down the street as long as there's enough people there to justify the cost, okay? So what I would like for y'all to consider, first, no, it wasn't my idea. This is driven by constituents who want to do this. And basically try to do some housing in the $250,000 range, which is almost impossible now. And the only way you do it is through higher density. But look at some overlay districts. I mean, do I think I could put this anywhere in my district? Absolutely not. But there are some areas where I could do it and people would appreciate it, recognize it, and see the value of it. So only thing I wanted y'all to think about today, would you be open to maybe restricting where they could be built? I mean, and maybe look at putting some overlay districts to restrict it. And for example, these are examples of 13 acres. I was thinking if we did R3, the maximum it could be would be 15 acres, R3. And if you did R4, the maximum could be 20 acres. So it wouldn't be huge developer comes in and buys 100 acres and just piles a bunch of houses. Even in an overlay district, it would be restricted. There would be 2 restrictions: a restriction where they could be built, and a restriction of how large the development could be. But I got to get these folks off of me.
Well, and Mr. Fan, I appreciate that. What concerns me is this is a parcel in my district. This example.
It's just an example, man. I promise you, you were not in mine.
I wonder who had this waiting in the wings, so I'll be watching out for that one. I guess my biggest concern is not the density, and I understand land's expensive, and you want to, the developers want to put as many as they can, make as much money, and just make it more affordable. My big concern outside of that is traffic. Especially if you look at this at Roper Mountain Road. Have you ever been? Do you guys ever driven down Roper Mountain Road and try to get home on that where I go at between 3 and 6 or in the morning between 7 and 9? No, there's. Well, that's my point here is this may be very good in your district where we're trying to push development, but would stink in mine.
Sure.
So I'm very open to pushing development your way, and not because I'm trying to push it your way, because I think it's more. I'm trying to push development on Ennis Fan. Can I get that as a quote? But do you understand what I'm saying? I would be very open to this in the right spot.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, just like where this is now, if I looked at this and I look at Roper Mountain coming on there, I wouldn't approve this if you paid me $10 million.
But
I
they
mean,
would have
it just-
to,
You know what I'm saying?
But
No,
there'll be traffic
there's no
studies that
way.
be done anyway,
Yes,
right?
it's crazy. Yeah, the traffic studies are what we really have to look at when we consider these. I mean, it's your, like, if you put this there, the traffic, people would lose their minds.
Mr. Chair.
He had a question.
Just real quick, with this, and essentially with the overlay though, it would be something where they would have to come for rezoning or to get that approval, correct? Or how would that operate? How would that work?
I'm happy to explain a little bit about overlays, if you
Go
will. So an overlay is not, it's not a rezoning. What we would do, we would work with Councilman Fan or whoever it is, on the areas that you would like to be included in this. And we would go ahead and create a boundary around those parcels around that area. And it might be parcel by parcel, it could be by streets, however we want to create that boundary. We've recently done one on Pelham Road corridor overlay, and we have one in Taylor's, the Taylor's Mill Village overlay. And we draft up regulations for that overlay. Now,
Yeah.
the underlying zoning is still applicable. These are just additional regulations on top of it.
Yeah.
Similar to Scuffletown as well.
And I guess my question was more of, this is actually something more specific to your district.
And getting people off me.
And so it's not, even though they use it as an example, it's not something they're gonna,
I'm with you.
yeah, I just
Right,
wanted
and
to
when-
make sure.
That's what
When
I'm
we
saying
get to
is-
the point that something is brought before council, it is going to be, this is the area that is the overlay.
Right.
And if it's ever to be expanded, it's got to go back through the process again.
And the zoning would be restricted
Correct.
to those overlay areas.
Right, the zoning, we're not changing the zoning. The underlying zoning stays as it is.
No, I'm just saying, so if somebody wanted
Right.
to do an R4, it doesn't matter, the R4 would have to be limited to that overlay area. You couldn't go to his area and do an R4.
If you tie it to it.
Well, I've not seen how the make of how you want to go about it. If we're talking about R4s, then we're going to really look at zoning and whether or not they're, I think what we probably want to do is if you're wanting to do an overlay, we need to craft the overlay so that so you've got density requirements and allowances, provisions in the overlay section that gets you to the density you wanted for like an R4. So that way we're not adding any new zoning districts. We're just going to say this area will be allowed to have this density in accordance with the overlay.
That's
So-
even better. And you don't even see that, you don't even have to change the
The
zoning.
zoning
and make
doesn't
it up.
change, right?
That's
Yeah.
even better.
We
No,
just
it's
fixed
good.
it on overlay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
even better. Any more questions on this discussion?
Tell Blue Water, don't.
If not, I have one motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Motion adjourned.